All right, so today we're going to dive into something pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We're always trying to find these stories about countries working together.
Right.
And this one is about South Korea and the Philippines and how they're becoming closer and closer as economic partners.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this news report from April 7th, 2025.
Okay.
And it covers a meeting and this business forum.
Sounds good.
So we want to really dig into what this strengthened partnership actually means and why it matters, for both these countries and for folks like us who are trying to keep up with what's happening in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this isn't just some, symbolic gesture or anything.
Yeah.
This seems like a real effort by both sides to build something more, something more lasting and impactful. And I think the details are where we're going to find the really interesting stuff.
Definitely. Okay, so let's get into it.
Okay.
The report zeroes in on this meeting that happened on April 7th.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry
in
Seoul. And on the South Korean side, you've got Minister of Trade, Industry, and Energy Ahn Duk-geun.
Right.
And the Philippines actually sent a pretty big delegation, like 23 people.
Wow.
Yeah, including Frederick, who's the special economic advisor to the president.
I see.
Francisco T. Laurel, their agriculture minister, and Seferino S. Rodolfo, the vice minister of Trade and Industry. So
they're covering all their bases, huh?
Right. They're clearly serious about this.
Yeah.
And one thing that jumped out at me was Minister Ahn talking about the Philippines' significant growth potential. He specifically mentioned their natural resources and their young population, which, that's not just like small talk.
No, it's a big deal.
A young population means like a workforce that's,
exactly,
ready to go. And consumers who are eager to buy things.
So it's a sign of a dynamic economy, one that's on the move and has, room to grow. Yeah.
And for a country like South Korea, which is, a major industrial power looking for new opportunities, that's got to be attractive.
Absolutely. And you know what else he mentioned?
What's that?
He was really appreciative of the Philippines lowering their corporate tax rate.
Oh, yeah.
It went from 25% down to 20%.
That's a pretty significant cut.
It is, and it sends a pretty clear message.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're open for business.
Exactly, come invest here.
Right.
So, I'm sure South Korean companies are paying attention to that.
Oh, absolutely.
And from the Philippine side, Advisor Go really emphasized how they see South Korea as a key partner for trade and investment. And
it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
And to prove that point, South Korea was actually the first stop.
Oh, wow.
On their investment attraction roadshow.
So they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not just talking about it.
And Go also said he was hopeful for some meaningful results from the Korea-Philippines Business Forum that happened right after this meeting.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue because, this initial meeting, it set the stage, but the forum is where you start to see
the specifics.
Yeah, the specifics, the concrete areas they want to work on together.
Exactly.
And one that really jumps out is the agreement to cooperate more on critical minerals and clean energy. I mean, those are huge. Those are huge globally. And, critical minerals, we're talking about things that are essential for all this.
Yeah.
High-tech stuff, batteries, electronics, and South Korea is a leader in those areas. So it seems like a win-win, more secure supply chains for both.
Right.
More opportunities for collaboration and growth.
Exactly. And it wasn't just talk about, future possibilities. Right. They also brought up these two MOUs.
MOUs.
Yeah, memoranda of understanding, basically agreements to work together.
Yeah.
And they said they want to make sure those are implemented smoothly.
Which MOUs are we talking about specifically?
Yeah, so one is about doing a feasibility study on restarting.
Oh, wow.
The Bataan Nuclear Power Plant.
The Bataan Nuclear Power Plant. That's
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
That's a blast from the past.
It is. It's been on hold for decades.
Right.
And the other MOU is about cooperation in critical raw material supply chains.
I see.
So, it's not just about general ideas, it's about actual projects.
Yeah, I mean, that Bataan plant, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're seriously considering bringing that back online, it suggests they're really thinking about energy security in a new way.
For sure. And that MOU about the critical raw materials, that's addressing a real vulnerability that we've seen in the global economy, when those supply chains get disrupted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it can cause chaos.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So after that initial meeting, Minister Ahn also spoke at the Korea-Philippines Business Forum.
Right.
And that one was actually hosted by the Philippine government.
Interesting.
Yeah. And he pointed out that their relationship had been upgraded to a strategic partnership.
Oh, wow.
After a summit last year.
Okay.
So that kind of sets the stage for,
Right. It elevates the whole thing.
Exactly. A much stronger foundation for all this economic cooperation.
Makes sense.
And he also said that South Korea is committed to working closely with the Philippine government.
Okay.
To make sure that businesses from both countries can collaborate smoothly.
That's huge.
It is. They're not leaving it to chance.
No, they're being proactive about it.
Yeah.
Which tells me they're serious about making this work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so stepping back, what does all this mean for people who are listening?
Yeah, a good question.
Basically, it shows that both South Korea and the Philippines are really serious about deepening their economic ties.
Yeah.
And they're looking at key areas like trade, investment, supply chains, energy. And it's not just about boosting trade numbers. It's really about strategic alignment in these vital industries.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this so interesting to me, because you've got the Philippines with all this growth potential, resources, young population, they're ready to take off. And then you've got South Korea, this industrial powerhouse with all this technological innovation.
Yeah.
So the question is, what other unexpected, maybe even surprising areas of collaboration might come out of this?
Yeah.
Because this strategic partnership, it seems like it could go way beyond just what we've talked about.
It could, yeah.
It could really reshape the economic landscape in that region.
For sure, and that's something we'll have to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another one.